You're watching the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we're going to explain how the NFL is screwing with the Chiefs. I know for some of you, you're going to laugh at just that idea that we're talking about the Chiefs getting screwed. But nonetheless, as the Chiefs are trying to fight for home field advantage in the AFC, we will explain what exactly is going on as the Chiefs have a very tough schedule down the stretch in their fight to get that first-round bye. We'll explain more coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, we are closing in on 63,000 subscribers on the channel, just over 250 away from reaching that next milestone. For the latest happenings of your favorite team all season long, we have daily news and rumors, live shows every week, watch parties on game days, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more. It's all right here on the channel. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV, and we'll get started with today's show. The run to the playoffs is on. We already know that the Kansas City Chiefs will be in the postseason, but where exactly they will be seated remains to be seen. And although the Chiefs hold the number one seed in the AFC at the moment, it is very competitive over these next few weeks to see if they will lock up that top spot in the American Football Conference. Let's take a look at the AFC playoff picture where things stack up right now. Kansas City at 11-1. Their only loss coming at the hands of the Buffalo Bills, who currently hold the number 2 spot at 10-2. And the Bills have not only clinched a playoff spot, they've also clinched their division as well. Pittsburgh at 9-3 holds the 3 spot. The Texans, the 4 seed at 8-5. The Chargers and the Broncos, fellow AFC West members, holding wild card spots at 8-4 and 8-5 respectively, while the Ravens are at 8-5, and Indy and Miami and several other teams are way outside trying to look in at this point. According to The Athletic, they do this weekly playoff predictor where they put the playoff scenarios all within a model and give you a bunch of nerd analytic numbers. And the Chiefs' chances of receiving a first-round bye right now are at about 52%. So just barely over a coin flip advantage for the Chiefs to get home field in the AFC. Meanwhile, with Buffalo, their odds currently sit at about 44%. So there is some slight wiggle room for somebody else, but not much. Basically, the battle for home field advantage in the AFC is between Kansas City and Buffalo at this point. And the next few weeks for the Kansas City Chiefs, with what they have in store, with the tough path that the NFL has set up for them, is going to make things very difficult when it comes to locking up home field advantage when you compare what's ahead for them with where things are at for the Buffalo Bills. We'll explain more here in just a moment. Let's ask you first, though, on our pinned comment today, will the Chiefs earn the top seed in the AFC? You got 2 options here. Type Y for yes, N for no. Weigh in, let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed, whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, including tickets to see your Kansas City Chiefs. We got you covered. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat with their seat views. Get the visuals, see what that seat is like. And then you're checking out at Game Time with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. They also have their super deals. If you see a super deal, that's going to be one you don't want to pass up on, folks. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. So with 5 games remaining for Kansas City, there is not a single easy game for the Chiefs down the stretch. And I'm not just saying that because the Chiefs make everything difficult with how close they've played teams like the Raiders and the Panthers in recent weeks. But when you look at these individual matchups, nothing is a given here for Kansas City for what's ahead. It starts this Sunday when they take on the LA Chargers on Sunday Night Football. I got to see this Chargers team up close and personal a couple weeks ago out in SoFi for that Monday night game against the Baltimore Ravens. And I know that the Chargers lost that game against Baltimore, but I've been very impressed with what we've seen from the Chargers. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting a whole lot out of LA this year. They look better than advertised. I think Jim Harbaugh has done a fantastic job. The defense there is greatly improved. They have the NFL's number one scoring defense in the NFL right now. Herbert's played solid here. That's not a given that you're going to beat the Chargers at home this week. You're going to have your work cut out for you to beat that Chargers team that's played much better football in recent weeks. Then you go on the road to take on the Cleveland Browns. And I know that this season hasn't gone the way the Browns wanted, but with Jameis Winston, you just never know, right? We saw the game against the Broncos on Monday night where he set the NFL record for passing yards if you include the return yards and interceptions. But with that said, Jameis at any given time can go off and look like Tom Brady, or other days it can look like Jamarcus Russell. You just don't know what version of Jameis is going to show up. And we've seen that Browns defense play very well. You go on the road for this one, too. To me, that is a sneaky good matchup taking on Cleveland there on December 15th. Then you got a short week when you take on the Houston Texans on a Saturday there on December 21st. And with the Texans, Al-Shalir is suspended. He will not be playing in that game. We just found that out on Tuesday that he's got a 3-game suspension. But even with that said, when you look at this Texans team, this is a team that was thought to be one of the contenders in the AFC. They're leading their division right now. Still have a very good quarterback in C.J. Stroud. Got all sorts of weapons on that team on both sides of the football. When you talk about what they have with Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, with Tank Dell, among others here. I mean, that's an explosive football team. That's going to be a challenge for Kansas City to deal with. And then another short week after the first short week when they take out the Pittsburgh Steelers on Christmas, and that game's on the road too. And the Steelers, I got to say, Mike Tomlin, here he goes again, folks. Another Mike Tomlin team with a winning record. Every year he's been in Pittsburgh, he's had a winning record since he's been with that team. And that's going to be, folks, your third game in a 10-day stretch. That ain't fair. That ain't fair at all. The NFL is screwing with the Kansas City Chiefs, especially when we show you what Buffalo has to deal with in just a moment here. But that is a tough way to finish out those 10 days to play a physical Pittsburgh Steelers team that has a pretty good pass rush with guys like T.J. Watt and company there. That ain't fun. And then you finish off with the Denver Broncos. And the Broncos, one of the biggest surprises of the year in the NFL. Bo Nix has had a very solid rookie campaign. The offensive line's been good. The defense has been good. Sean Payton's done a very good job. The Broncos have improved on that front. So it is a bit of a gauntlet, this final 5-game stretch, especially when you consider that the schedule of the actual dates of the games involved does this team no favors. The Athletic, in their record prediction, is projecting that the Chiefs are going to finish at 14-3. In a moment, we're going to go over the Bills' schedule and the Bills' projection and show you how that compares to Kansas City here in just a bit. Before we do, what will be the Chiefs' final record for 2024? Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think that will be. Now, you compare this to the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills, folks, have a much easier path than the Kansas City Chiefs do over these final 5 games. They take on the LA Rams on the road this week, and the Rams are still trying to fight to make the postseason. They have a shot to win the NFC West at this point. And we know the Rams have some playmakers when you talk about Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, among other guys as well. I'll say this for the Bills. Bills Mafia has been traveling. I remember there was a game a few weeks back. They were playing against Seattle, which is known to have an incredible home field, right? And yet there was more Bills fans than Seahawks fans in Seattle. L.A., of course, has had a history of letting road teams take over. I would be willing to wager that there might be more Bills fans in L.A. than Rams fans. It's kind of a home game for the Bills that they get in the month of December taking on that Rams team. Then you take on the Detroit Lions, and that's by far the toughest game that the Bills have remaining on their schedule. It's not even close. And the Lions are as hot as any team in the National Football League. This is their toughest road game of the entire season. I'll give them that. That one's not easy to be taking on Detroit, and that's going to be must-see TV. Cinema, box office, as the kids say. Then you take on the New England Patriots. Patriots are a mess. They're a joke. That's easy. There should be no worries whatsoever about playing that awful New England team. Then you take on the Jets. Aaron Rodgers might be benched by that point. Obviously, they've been losing games with him anyway. He hasn't played that well to begin with. But that team is just a mess. You know, we can all just kind of laugh at the Jets for what they've been doing. So the Bills should handle business there. And then you take on the Patriots one more time. So we've showed you both here. Considerably different here. Night and day difference of what the Chiefs have to go through and what the Bills have to go through. Not only do the Chiefs have a tougher schedule than the Buffalo Bills do, but they also have that 3 games and 10 game stretch. It's easy for the Buffalo Bills, especially those final 3. Patriots twice in a 3-week stretch? Come on. Now, here's where it gets a little nerve-wracking for the Chiefs. The Athletic, although we showed you their percentage chances earlier, they give the Chiefs a better chance to get home field compared to Buffalo. The Athletic is projecting that both teams end up with the same record at 14-3. Well, the Bills won the head-to-head, so the Bills would then get home field advantage if that was the case. Not great. What will the Bills' final record be? Weigh in the comments section. Let us know what you think it's going to be there for Buffalo as they wrap up the regular season. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe now to the Chiefs Report for the latest happenings on your favorite team all season long. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.